15th annual William Hammond Hall Awards. It's really, this has become such an institution of the modern version of this department, honoring employee excellence. That's what today is, but it is called the William Hammond Hall Awards after William Hammond Hall. Everybody knows who John McLaren is and gets a lot of credit, but it was actually William Hammond Hall who was the first superintendent of our park system. And so that is why this award is named after him and Mr. McLaren planting. I've been shut off already, and I haven't even started talking. He and Mr. McLaren planting tens and tens of thousands of trees, 80,000 at first blush, and we kept going. Today we have about 140,000 trees in our system. They were the visionaries, but they did not do all the work. It was the people, their staff, the gardeners, the maintenance workers that actually are responsible for shaping America's best park system. And that is why we honor all of you today. It is, by the way, it is also National Recreation and Park Month. This is when the nation celebrates the importance of parks. So this is a big deal. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Today is also a very poignant moment because we've lost a couple of people in our parks family that were super important to us. And I want to take a moment before, today is about all of you, our awardees, our award winners, and I don't want to take the spotlight off of the incredible individuals who are receiving our award today, but we do have some important housekeeping to take care of. And as we all know, we lost Commissioner Larry Griffin just this past week. We lost one of our own, Gardener Paul Naughton. I'm going to have President Buell and I'm going to have Vince Courtney say a few words in a second, but I want to say something about Commissioner Griffin. I saw Rich Waller. I know that there are a lot of people here to honor Commissioner Griffin that don't always actually come to these things. And a lot of you have your own very own deeply personal stories about both Commissioner Griffin and Paul. Commissioner Griffin, in addition to being a labor leader, a community leader, an incredible mensch, I really got to know him. I knew him for a long time, but I got to know him most closely during his tenure as a Parks Commissioner. And he was just so proud to be a Parks Commissioner. He really loved it. He'd been on a few other commissions and done a bunch of other really important things. But this really spoke to him. Parks mattered to him. This commission appointment mattered to him. And as I said in his obit today, it's often been said that 90% of life is showing up. And up until the very, very, very last moment that he could, Larry Griffin always showed up. And so this is a big loss for us. It's a little hard and a little awkward to be up here celebrating. This will end up being a big party and a celebration of our incredible men and women who work for this department. But let's take a brief moment of silence, and then I'd like President Buell to say a few additional words about Commissioner Griffin, and Vince Courtney to say a few words about Paul Naughton. Thank you. President Buell.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. I knew Larry Griffin for over 40 years, and I knew him when he was active in the community, and I hadn't seen him in a number of years, and I was delighted when the mayor appointed him to the Rec and Park Commission. So I will leave you with this. This morning, as my wife and I were chatting about what our day looked like, I told her I was coming to one of my very favorite events as a park commissioner, and that is to recognize the people who really do the hard work that make us look good I take all the credit, I don't give it to Phil, but you guys do all the work and we're very grateful. Having said that, about Larry, I said to my wife, I said, but the sad part is we're gonna be saying goodbye to a wonderful man. And she said, well, what was he like? And I mentioned just 2 words. He was a sweet man and he was a gentle man. And she said, with those skills, he had it all. And with that, let me ask Vince to say a few words.
Thank you, President Popeil. Thank you, General Manager Ginsburg. So, you know, we've been through this before. It's easy to recognize when somebody falls at work when they're in a really public position like Commissioner Larry Griffin was. It's not always so easy when you're an essential frontline, physically present field worker. And that's who we all are. And that's what Paul Naughton was. Paul Naughton was a brother, he was a friend, and he also passed away over the course of the past few weeks, right, Liz? It's something that strikes a chord in all of us. When you talk about Paul, somebody who was like nice, friendly, kind, hilarious. He was just a positive person to be around. He was somebody that, you know, I called my friend for several decades. Huge loss for the department, for the union, for the Naughton family, for the people that grew up in the Sunset and Richmond and went to school with Paul. So I'm really, really proud that the department is honoring him today as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vince. All right, I want to now bring up one more special guest on you know, a happier and more joyous note. For those of you who work in the department, anybody who works for the Recreation and Park Department knows Denny Kern. I've been in this job a long time now, and Denny Kern predates me. And Denny has been my mentor and my coach, and actually is really the one responsible for keeping the trains on time and planting the trees, Mayor. I'm just a pretty face, to be honest. Denny has had such an incredible, distinguished career. He's literally a hero, having saved a number of lives during 9/11, after spending a long career in the Navy, and ended up getting into the parks biz because he did parks and wellness and recreation in the Navy for a while, and ended up running a parks department in Virginia, and then life brought him and his wife Kate and his daughter Emily and their grandson Lucas to California. And Denny has been very quietly, gracefully, competently guiding this department ever since. And as Denny has shared publicly, Denny has been fighting an illness and fighting a disease. And he has been out, I think, for almost a month and a half now, or about a month and a half. And guess what? He's back. And so Denny, please come up and just, Denny never likes the spotlight on him, but I would love to give him this moment to just say a word or two.
Thank you, Phil. I'll try to keep this brief because, as Phil said, tonight, this event, what we're doing here, this ain't about me, people. This is about you. And this is what's so important to me because I've never missed one of these. And even with all this going on, I wasn't going to miss this one either. But I do want to make a couple comments to the great awardees who we're going to be honoring here this afternoon. I'm going to use a kind of a loaded word. So hang with me here for a second. I'm going to use the word privilege. And the reason I'm saying that is because our department and each of you as our department city workers have the privilege of maintaining, sustaining, conserving, managing the most beautiful public open space in the entire city and county of San Francisco. And you do it so well. And every time I'm out there looking at your great work and seeing you out there, you almost bring tears to my eyes because of the great job you're all doing. And but privilege has a second aspect to it as well. The privilege is also mine and Phil's and everybody else because we have the privilege of thanking you of honoring and appreciating the work that you do so well for the city, all of San Francisco's Siskins, there it is. It's a real pleasure for me. So thank you. I've told Phil this before, but one of my favorite sayings came from Gertrude Stein, and she said, "Silent gratitude doesn't mean much to anybody." And so I want you to know that all of us appreciate, are grateful, recognize the wonderful work you do for all of us. It's just breathtaking. It really is. So thank you. If my gratitude is not silent, I want it to be frequent, loud, boisterous, and here it is. So thank you so much. You guys are just awesome.
All right, so we have a number of special guests and you will all get introduced, but we have a chief special guest. And to introduce her is one of last year's William Hammond Hall awardees, our plumbing supervisor, Cynthia Wheeler.
I have the honor and the privilege to introduce this young lady who I worked with her mother back in the 90s. She grew up in these parts. She's an icon. Everybody in this room know her. Let's welcome Mayor London Breed.
Thank you, Cynthia. I didn't know she was talking about me when she said young lady. She now my favorite person at Rec Park. First of all, let me just say that I know that there's a lot of loss in this department with Paul and with Larry. And for those of you who work with Paul and those of you in the commission and others who've gotten to know Larry, we're very fortunate to have had them be a part of this Rec Park family. So I appreciate the fact that they're being acknowledged here today, but I'm also incredibly happy to see Denny here joining us because we know how hard you work. This department is a special place, and you know what's interesting more recently is you are hearing about the stories, about the narrative, about what people are trying to say about San Francisco. And like any other major city, we have our problems. We've always had challenges. And now a spotlight has been shined on our city like never before. On the one hand, during a global pandemic, we were mentioned as one of the best cities to be, one of the safest cities. We save lives, we protect people. And on the other hand, you know, now that is having a bit of an opposite effect. But here's the thing. We're here today because we know different. We know what our Rec Park system is. We know what it represents. And we know what it did, not just what it does now, but what it did during the global pandemic and how it was a big part of why our city was so safe and why we all were able to get through a very difficult time. And it was like that not by magic. It was like that because of all of you and the people that we are honoring here today, who you, as their peers, who work with them every single day, made the decision that these were the people that deserved to be nominated, to be honored, to be recognized for going above and beyond and making sure that they were doing all the great work that needed to be done in order to ensure that our parks and open space continue to be the best anywhere in the world. You guys know Steph Curry played on those fields, played golf out here one time, and just walking through these doors and seeing the shop open and the people out here eating and Harding Park, this is a public golf course where international Tournaments have been played. People are coming to San Francisco and oftentimes experiencing the beauty of San Francisco because of our park system. And we may not always see all of you out there doing what you do in taking care of these parks from the office and the management and the facilitation and the allocation of the resources and the people to the work and the nitty gritty and do your nails ever get clean even though you go and get a manicure well, I know I do get a manicure every now and then, but the work that you do to dig in the soil and cut the trees and respond. Even earlier this year, one of the biggest storms we've experienced since I can even remember, and I've been in the city my whole life, and people were afraid, and I wasn't afraid because I know the arborists and the folks, the gardeners and people who work for Rec and Park are gonna handle the problems that need to be handled in this city. So when we say, you said appreciation needs to not be silent, is that what you said? I show up for this department because all of you do such an extraordinary job, and it's always a privilege to be a part of this park system, to come to our parks, to explore our parks, and to discover something new, and to especially thank the people who make that possible. So the folks who are being honored here today, I want to say congratulations. And also, I walked in here, I'm like, beer, and there's a bar that's open, and there's some food. So who flipped the bill for that? Because Phil doesn't like to spend any money. And Vince Courtney told me, he was like, well, the laborers and the Mazzola and the plumbers, we want to make sure people are fed. And I'm like, that's really nice of you guys. I hope this is an annual tradition this has been going on 15 years. So we want to make sure that when we celebrate, we also not only recognize people, but we also provide substances. We fill the soul with food and with beer and alcohol and whatever else is there, and drinks, whatever you choose. But just, again, as a way to show our appreciation for all the hard work that so many of you do day in and day out. Thank you for really being a shining example of what it means to truly be an incredible public servant. And thank you for sticking with Rec and Park day in and day out and doing the work, because it is important and it is what makes our city shine. And thank you to our fellow commissioners, our other elected leaders. Oscar, thank you for joining us too. Coming in here behind me. It's so great to be here. It's so great to celebrate all of you. And, just look at how far we've come. We've been through challenges in this city before, but we're coming back stronger than ever. And our park system in San Francisco is the main reason why. So thank you so much for being here today.
So I know the mayor has to run, so before she does, we want to get a photo with the recipients. And before we do the photo, I do want to acknowledge that I have my fellow commissioners here. I've got Joe Hallisey, I've got Danita Louie, the vice president of our commission, Kat Anderson, and the always quiet and humble Larry Mazzola. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that we have former Commissioner Tom Harrison here. Tom worked for the department. He was on the commission for 16 years. He's now on the Sanitation and Streets Commission. It's a new one on me. Congratulations, Commissioner. And with that, and I would fully be remiss if I often say, Phil knows this, victory has many parents and defeat is an orphan. But one of the parents of this victory today is Ashley Summers, who does a lot of work to put this together. With that, we're going to do a photo and then get back to the program. So we'll do a photo with the mayor. And Phil, you going to organize this photo? Yes, sir. Oh, Ashley can organize it. I want you all to join me in welcoming a former supervisor, a former state legislator, and our city attorney, David Chu.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Vince Courtney. So I've been in politics enough to know that I'm between you guys and the bar. So I'm going to be very brief. The first thing I want to say is I just want to thank Phil Pretty Face Ginsburg for throwing a party at 3 o'clock on a work day. And as your city attorney, I just want to say, don't drink on the job, okay? No drinking on the job.
They're off,
They're off.
but I'm drinking on the job.
They are off. You are all off officially. You heard it from me, particularly in front of that camera. The second thing I want to say, just on a serious note, I know we are here in part to think about Paul and Larry who are with us in spirit. And just one thing I want to say about Brother Larry. When I was on the Board of Supervisors, and he was working at the Office of Labor Standards Enforcement, there are words in city ordinances that protect workers because of the work of Brother Larry Griffin. And so I just want to say, Brother Larry and Brother Paul, thank you. I know you're looking down. You were with us in spirit. It's always really tough to go after the mayors. I'm going to be incredibly brief, which is the following, which is like the mayor as one of your elected officials. I have lots of arguments with some critics around the country about what's happening in San Francisco. We have many arguments, but whenever I want to end an argument that extols the virtue of San Francisco, I will say the following. I will say, you cannot respond to the following. We have the best goddamn parks in the United States because of the Richmond Park Department. And we have those great parks not just because of great leadership from Mr. Ginsburg and your commissioners and your managers, but because of unsung heroes, people who do the work day in and day out, and people who we are recognizing today, and that is your William Hammond Hall Award winners right here. So with that, make sure after this event, you go to the bar, you buy them a drink, because that drink is on Labor. Thank you so much, Labor. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you very much. I think now we want to introduce our commissioners and get on with the program.
No,
Yes?
we have
No?
one more
Oh.
special guest. Well, not guest. He owns the joint, both as a commissioner, as the head of the building and trades. It is not Vince.
Oh, no, it's not this.
But I do want to say something. Obviously we are celebrating labor, but also to have labor's leadership fighting for parks and fighting on parks issues. It means the world to us, Larry. It means the world to us, Vince. It means the world to us, to all the other labor leaders that are here. You are representing your members and your workers. But you are also representing something bigger. You are representing quality of life for San Francisco. You're fighting for mental health. You're fighting for economic development. You're fighting for jobs. You are fighting for all the things that parks do for our city. And one of the reasons I'm wearing orange today is I couldn't be prouder to be part of this, even when Larry, you and Vince are yelling at me. It's all good because I so value and appreciate the role that labor plays in the city. And Mr. Mazzola, thank you for your incredible leadership as a commissioner and as a labor leader. Please come say a few words.
Thank you, pretty boy Phil. You must not own a mirror. Anyways, welcome you all. Are there any building trades people in the house? All right. I gotta say this is one of my favorite events, if not my favorite event, because we're recognizing workers. And far too often workers are not recognized. They're the one behind the scenes doing the work every single day, like Phil was just saying, and previous speakers before me, including the mayor. These are the people that make the parks go, make us #1 in all the papers around the United States. And without them, this would never happen. Look at this beautiful course out here. I mean, it's just awesome that we live in a town and we have workers that have pride in their work like you guys do. So thank you. I want to thank the laborers, Local 261, Vince Courtney, David Delatorre. You know, this was their idea years ago, and they opened it up to the rest of the building trades, and I just want to say thank you to them because I think it was a great idea. and to spread the wealth with all the workers that are out here, and it gives everybody a chance to be recognized, and I just want to thank you guys, 261. On a lighter note, I also knew, on a sad note, Larry Griffin, obviously for years on my commission and beforehand in the labor movement, and Paul Naughton growing up in the Sunset District. Two awesome gentlemen that gave a lot to the parks, and they're looking down right now. I wish they were here, but we miss them, and we love you guys. And with that, I'll turn it back to Phil, and enjoy your evening, and congratulations to everybody here.
Thank you, Larry. All right, Mark, it's time to get this party started, so I'll let you take it from here.
I think all I'm gonna do is introduce our commissioners to get up here and present these awards. And let's see if I can figure out what the order is. I think Commissioner Anderson is first. So Kat Anderson is the Vice President of the Commission, and she's gonna present the first awards.
Thank you, President. I just want to say hello, everybody. How are you? Well, I know you're all right. You're more than all right. You guys are the real deal. We wouldn't be what we are without you guys. Some of you, I like to come out there and play in the dirt, right, Toby? I like that. I like playing in the dirt. It's a lot of fun. You guys get paid for it. That doesn't seem quite fair, but I'm doing this for free, so I need a drink later. Is that all right? All right. So our first recipient, unfortunately, is not here with us, Carlos Aguilar. Yeah? If you're friends with Carlos, please raise your hand. Well, isn't it the whole room? I mean, what's going on here? He's gone above and beyond with his work for us. A senior roofer for our department. So, Larry Mazzola Jr., what union is that one? A senior roofer. Who would that be? Huh? 40, okay. All right. Any other local 40 in the house? Yeah, right on. Okay, brothers and sisters. I'm local 521 or something like that. Okay. He ensures new employees, especially those coming from the private sector, understand the standard of work that is required of them. As a mentor for others, he's taken fellow employees around to our facilities, showing them our parks, rec centers, pools, and even Camp Mather. What do you mean, even Camp Mather? Especially Camp Mather, to ensure they understand the great responsibility we have of stewards of parkland. During the recent rains, he stopped everything he was doing to clear drains in Golden Gate Park, ensuring passersby were safe as they traveled through the park. And on top of everything, he always has a friendly smile on his face, and he's a tremendous asset to our department, and we thank him for his service to the citizens of San Francisco. So let's do a big snap for Carlos, right on.
Yeah.
Would someone like to accept the award on Carlos' behalf as one of his colleagues or something here? Yeah, who, I'm sorry, I forget, what's your name? Marvin. Hey, Marvin, okay, thank you. So, take a bunch of selfies and then you can give it to him later.
Let's take a picture. Yeah. Picture.
Oh, yeah, come on. Let's get up here.
Is that Phil Ginsburg? Yes. Picture.
I'm gonna take another picture with Martin when he actually wins.
Well,
All right, for Carlos. For Carlos.
Take it off.
Yes, sir. Or ma'am, whoever said that.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. Okay, so I wore this orange to show you guys how much I love you, but it's hot up here. I'm taking it off. Okay. Georgie Amato Lockman. Yeah. They say that's a palm tree on his shirt, but I know otherwise. Okay, George, or as his colleagues call him, Georgie, is going into his third year as captain of the Western Addition. My first neighborhood when I moved to the city. Yeah, come on up here. This is awesome. What a great idea. Here, don't say anything. Okay, he has a rich understanding. Tell me if any of this is bullshit. Okay, he has a rich understanding of the Western Addition complex and the daily issues that may transpire, always maintaining a calm and collected composure despite the chaos. Palm trees. Okay, Georgie regularly leads rotation apprentices, PSTs, what is that?
Public service trainees.
and staff work days demonstrating his strong leadership skills and a willingness to mentor fellow staff. Not to put on the pressure, but George and his team know that Mayor Reed was born and raised in the Western Addition, which means there are often events planned there with a moment's notice. You always have these parks looking beautiful and ready to go because you're on top of your work. And on Sundays through Thursdays, you may catch them on the streets of the Western Addition. Oh, I'm sorry, I messed up tech. Do you want me to do all that over again?
No,
Okay. Catch them on the streets. Is that a phrase of yours?
Yeah, that's one of my
Okay,
phrases.
of the Western Addition. And his fellow gardeners would tell you to make sure to give him a shout out. To Georgie, shout out. No, you don't have to. But now you have to take a picture. Is that all right?
Okay, I'm in touch.
Who else is coming? Is this okay? The photographer people? This work? Okay.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys.
This is so much fun. I can do this all day. Okay, another roofer. Hey, don't call them roofies though, they're roofers. Okay, Marvin Blandon demonstrates professionalism and tireless work ethic. Oh yeah, hey.
Me again.
Oh, I did it again. So sorry. Hi. You have a tireless work ethic while maintaining park facilities, ensuring they're safe and beautiful for all our park patrons to enjoy. You demonstrate the utmost respect for your peers and management, epitomizing our department values as a respectful, responsive, and resilient employee. By the way, these sorts of things that are written about you come from your peers. Yeah. Marvin recently completed repairs at the Martin Luther King Jr. pool facility. Not only did he make repairs to the outer roof structure, his team went above and beyond by repairing the interior beams above the pool. During the project, he ensured employees worked in a safe and efficient manner, frequently communicating with coworkers and facility staff throughout the project. And you take on jobs and projects gracefully, and you're strategic in planning, preparations, and safety protocols. Thank you, Marvin.
You're welcome.
All right, Marvin, this one counts.
Yeah. You promised that one. Thank you. That's why I'm not dropping this.
I need you on both of those lights.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm almost done here. Whoops, there was a little bit about Marvin on the other side. He built a tarp structure to work under during the rain and snow at Camp Mather. And during the winter storms, he worked collaboratively with the urban forestry to tarp the historic Trocadero clubhouse, our poor clubhouse. Okay. Let's see, James Boyle. James Boyle, come on up. Next. Hey.
Is that who referred to you?
Hey, it's in 2 pieces. Hold on to it.
I don't know the problem.
God, I can tell you guys really hate this carpenter here. James, do you have a nickname?
Bosco. Better known Bosco.
Bosco?
Yeah,
Bosco.
my middle name.
Wow. Okay, Bosco, you exemplify our department's standards of professional skill and dedication in all of your work. The Conservatory of Flowers, which you maintain, is a gorgeous and iconic wood structure that is nearly 145 years old. You know this to be true, right?
Yeah, most of them.
145? How many years have you been involved in all of that?
About 10.
Okay. It takes quite a beating due to climate, both inside and out. James Bosco always brings ingenuity and patience with him into his work, providing thoughtful solutions to ensure the longevity of our historic structures. You do not limit yourself to fixing and patching obvious problem areas, and you always go above and beyond to identify underlying causes and collaborate on solutions. You demonstrate limitless courtesy in encounters with your teammates, peers, and the public. Your teammates are assured that when you take on a task, it will be completed with the highest standard of quality and care. Thank you, Bosco.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
on, guys.
Thanks, Phyllis.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'll see you back later at the bar.
All right, the next commissioner who is going to entertain us and make, and distribute some awards, she shows up at commission meetings with donuts and treats for the commission. On holidays, she shows up with a musical instrument and entertains us. And she is always willing to serve and show up at any event, Vanita Louie.
Thank you, President Buell. Okay, and today she shows up with her husband Austin and their dog. Our dog, new dog, Nikita. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Taylor.
You can say Cheetah.
Cheatham?
Cheetah, nailed it.
Okay. Taylor Cheatham, come on here. Okay, Taylor, come. Taylor comes to work every day just like you guys, with determination to make the park safe, clean, and enjoyable for all of us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And while working at Balboa, she befriended park patrons and their pups, who now take the trip over to Christopher just as they can visit her. Within a few weeks of taking charge of Christopher, she managed to improve the reliability of irrigation systems and got the park gophers issues under control. Can you go over to the JFK Promenade? I must have seen like 10 gophers there. During the winter storms, she honed her chainsaw skills and worked on many trees in her parks and other crew member parks. Taylor is tremendous asset to the parks and is a true team player. Thank you, Chatham. All the citizens, we thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, here we go. In the middle, okay. Okay, that's 5 down, 7 to go. 7 wonderful gardeners to go. Okay, at this time, I want to ask Brian Flynn. Is he not here? Brian Flynn? No? Brian's not here? Ah. Okay, who knows Brian? Who knows Brian really well? Okay. Okay, so Brian Flynn is under the weather, it says right here. So he appreciates you thinking about him while he's resting at home. Okay.
Yeah, what?
Want to read his
Oh, do you want to read? Okay. Okay, let's talk about Brian anyways. Yeah. And maybe this nice colleague named Frankie. As a gardener, in the PSA 5, Brian is seen as a valuable asset to his team, is an incredible mentor for all the apprentices. And he's professional, hardworking, knowledgeable, and kind. Brian's colleagues describe him as an exemplary gardener who always has advice to share with anyone interested in learning about gardening. Fellow apprentices and gardeners seek out his gardening knowledge, skills, and support, and he initiates on a volunteer group project, spends time training apprentices on proper techniques, pruning, and is known for sharing his expert level of understanding how to use and sharpen chainsaws. There's more about Brian. He is tremendous effort in creating habitat for wildlife and promoting California native species. His work qualifies, he's exemplified by his areas he manages, like Buena Vista Park, where he created a great,
beautiful Cianotus planting at the upper terrace and the succulent cancer planting leading up to Buena Vista Sun has no look as good as it does now for at least 7 years. So let's give it up for Brian.
no, one more.
Oh, one more. Brian is always ready with a helping hand and communicates
A
in a
calm manner with
with
colleagues, volunteers, and the general managers of the public.
Give it up for Brian one more time. There we go.
Do you want to take a picture?
Yeah, sure.
Brian?
Yeah, for Brian.
We'll do this for Brian.
For Brian.
Brian.
Let's do this. Half heart. You do half heart. I do. There we go.
Okay, we have, I want to invite Lau, they, them, Garcia up here.
I love that. That's not my middle name.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I'm going to also invite Commissioner Kat Anderson because she has a special relationship with Lau.
Oh,
Well, kind of. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I know her daddy is a true leader, Lau, showing resilience and unwavering support of your colleagues. In late 2022, during the middle of the valley planting season, you were quickly thrust into the role of acting supervisor, a position that you would hold for several months. Is it true that you kept a cool head? And led by example, doing the work while supporting each of your other gardener colleagues? You encouraged fellow colleagues to show up for one another and be their best selves, improving overall efficiency. During what could have been a chaotic and rudderless period, you faced the steep learning curve of supervisor and earned a deepening respect from your colleagues.
Yay! All right.
And to present our last awards, a commissioner who I think should run for mayor. Every time he goes to a park for a ribbon cutting, he knows everybody there, and he shows up for everything we ask him to do. Joe Hallisey.
Thank you, President Buell. The last time I saw many of you was at the all-staff meeting at the County Fair Building in January. It was just a few days before the Super Bowl. Our esteemed General Manager, Phil Ginsburg, told all of you to bet on his beloved Eagles. I got up shortly thereafter and I said, anytime you can get Patrick Mahomes as an underdog, you gotta go that way. How many of you won money on the Chiefs Super Bowl? How many of you were foolish enough to bet on Phil's Eagles? My tout service gives the first pick for free. Here on after, they'll be collecting a few bucks if you make money off my picks. All right, our next honoree, Enrique Magana. Enrique's posse here today, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Enrique, one of our great gardeners here in San Francisco, described by his colleagues as having a beautiful and infectious joy. He is dependable when it comes to completing the task at hand, but also can be relied upon to raise the spirits of those working alongside him. With his high standards and patience when it comes to challenges, he is an inspiration to his crew. As a mentor, he coaches his colleagues on the correct approach to a physically demanding job to ensure they stay safe and remain efficient. Every day, Enrique demonstrates professionalism and skill as well as a positive demeanor, making him an incredible asset to his colleagues, the department, and the citizens of San Francisco. Congratulations, Enrique Magana.
More noisemakers.
Good job. Thank you.
Sure. Right now. Our next honoree, another gardener from our great department, Shay Farwell. Shay's passion for parks, her commitment to her colleagues and the environment, and her supportive and friendly attitude make a great ambassador of San Francisco parks. She has become a shop steward for Local 261 and helps her colleagues navigate through the MOU and departmental protocols. For the department, Shay regularly leads volunteer groups, bringing her knowledge of horticulture and her love of the parks to the community. She has gone out of her way to help and assist fellow apprentices, including demonstrating how to use new equipment safely and efficiently. Shay also leads volunteer groups, and she took extra caution to make sure she roped off hangers when trees were dropping branches during this storm season. Even when it was after her shift. Pretty impressive, Shay. A terrific role model to fellow employees, and she displays politeness and patience with park patrons. Congratulations, Shay Farwell. Good job, Shay. Our next honoree is Danny Montillo. Danny is a natural resources specialist. She has brought her extensive knowledge about native plant conservation to the Rec and Park family. She started her work with our department just a few months before the pandemic, and despite the many obstacles that time presented, she remained dedicated to improving our unique and biodiverse natural areas. Danny has a passion for promoting native biodiversity, preserving remnant native plant and wildlife habitat, and protecting rare and endangered species. She coordinated a seed program between the Natural Resources Division and the Golden Gate Park Nursery to encourage the native plants grown there to have local genetics. We are lucky to have Danny as part of our Rec and Park family. Congratulations, Danny Montillo.
Yeah, you're definitely.
Okay, cool.
You're the star.
Good job, Danny. Our next honoree, an electrician, Ron Perez.
Thank you.
Ron is an excellent electrician with a friendly and open demeanor and a can-do spirit. When an electrical problem occurs, Ron is there to find an efficient solution. Ron has gone above and beyond with his work, always accomplishing more than asked. When the fluorescent tubes in a colleague's office were flickering, he not only replaced them and the ballast, he also installed an additional fixture to light a dark storage area. From installing new circuits to improving visibility and lighting throughout our park system, Ron is dedicated to his craft and supportive of his colleagues. Ron is an asset to the department and the citizens of San Francisco. Congratulations, Ron Perez. Congratulations, Ron.
Thank you. Thank you.
And next up, our heavy equipment operations assistant supervisor, Dennis Sherry.
Thank you.
Dennis is swift when addressing inquiries, concerns, and other issues, and he truly values a challenge. He makes sure everyone around him feels heard and supported. In addition, he fosters a collaborative and supportive, safe work environment for all. During this winter's storms, Dennis consistently went the extra mile, assisting the urban forestry team day and night to clear hazards. From cleaning up tree failures, removing trees off vehicles and buildings, and opening up roads, Dennis ensured our parks were safe for everyday use. He is responsive and resilient, and that makes him a true asset to the Recreation and Park Department. Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Sherry. Congratulations, Denny.
Thank you, Joe. Let's give it up for all our awardees. And to our commissioners for making all the presentations. You know, Joe, you might have a future as, I don't know, like a PA announcer. Like, maybe there's an opening at USF basketball or something. How about Joe House? He's pretty darn good at that. All right. We have one more award, and then the bar, I know the bar's not really closed and whatever, but one more award, and then it's, and then we celebrate. And this is a very, very, very special award. It is the People's Choice Award, and I will leave it at that. And to tell you all about it, our first female superintendent of the structural maintenance yard in park history, Haley Yara.
This one? Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So happy to see you, Denny. So I was really honored to talk about the Stumpy Award today. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Haley Guerra, and as Phil said, I'm in charge of the structural maintenance yard at Rec and Park. And I couldn't be more proud to serve and collaborate and work with all the men and women in the yard. Who maintain all the facilities in park all over San Francisco, up to Camp Mather and Sharp Park. It is a true pleasure working with them every day. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Stumpy Award. According to RPD folklore, the story goes that sometime in the year 2010, on a cold, foggy day, morning in Golden Gate Park, a gardener discovered an Australian tea tree had grown around a sprinkler head that was older than the gardener herself. This lone gardener, who will forever remain anonymous, deemed to find too special to keep her to herself. From that day forward, the stump has been awarded to resilient gardeners by a special committee. Last year's winner was Randy Vasquez. Who will now pay it forward to this year's winner, which is all about resilience and hard work. So Randy, do you want to come on up here? There you are.
My name's Randy Bill. So I'm pretty sure this award's about kind of cutting through the BS. So we're just gonna cut right to it. Can I get a round of applause for Darren Murphy? Congratulations. Say something.
Thank you.
All right, one more big round of applause for all our awardees. For our mayor, for city attorney Chu, for our rec and park commissioners, and for all our sponsors of this event. Congrats, everyone. Happy National Recreation and Park Month. Let's keep it up. We're helping keep this city on the right track, right? Cheers.